my light going. Fix my filter. Same as always. Running a little late today, but we got her. Not sure if I should wait and see if some people want to pop in and help me pick a picture, or if we should just jump right in. And I could grab a drink of my coffee. My debate here. That one's cool, but that would take me all day, all day. That one's definitely cool. Trying to decide. I think she might have an extra arm. That's interesting. Okay. A lot of detail in that one. I'm thinking. Let's see. That was kind of fun. Did that one on a different. I'm definitely going to have to pull out my metallic markers after looking at that on screen. But I think we're going to settle on this guy. And I am going to go grab my markers because I didn't realize they did that for you guys. And of course, my metallics aren't in there. Because that would be too easy, wouldn't it? That's okay though. I think we're going to have fun with this one. And we're going to start off the opposite direction of what I usually do. And I usually start off with my greens, but I decided that these roofs need to be red. Because why not? How's everybody doing today? I am in the mood for color today, so. But I think we're going to do this top part one color and this part down here a different, just because we can. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Mine has been a little chaotic and I'm a little behind schedule, but that's okay. I usually like to go live right at 3 o'clock. And it was closer to 3:30. Not 100% certain what time it is. Not quite 3:30 yet, so I'm not as late as I was thinking I was, so that's a bonus. And if you do pop up to say hi, please don't take it personally if it takes a minute. It's impossible for me to look at the chat and my paper at the same time. It's a little tricky. That's right up in the edge of the book there. And my birds have a lot to say today, which is not uncommon. Some days they're just chatterbox mode. Nope, that is not all of them, is it? Always good to start off with a nice bright color. Especially on a picture that could go very bland very quickly. If you start off nice and bright, then it can't get too bland because it's already got some nice and bright in it. There we go. Now, let's get a nice brown. pencil sharpener because my nice brown is not looking so good and sharp. It's actually kind of the opposite of good and sharp. What's that? It is. I have a couple of my metallics actually in my color with my colored pencils, so we may still see those today. I would love to know where my, there it is. Hiding pencil sharpeners. It's always a fun thing. And I do apologize, I know I'm off camera with this, but if I sharpen on camera, then the shavings go picture, and that's not actually quite fun. We're using a nice dark brown, but a light coat for this. Gives it a nice, rich tone. I always have to be careful with pictures like this. I get sometimes a little hung up on trying to make it realistic instead of fun. And that is not the goal. We're going to be a little bit ridiculous today because I can. And because it's fun to be a little bit ridiculous sometimes. Hello, Matt. It would be kind of cool to live in a mushroom house. So I wonder if the smell might be a little bit of an issue for me. Because I actually do like mushrooms, but I don't love the way they smell. Hello, Brandon, and thank you very much. So, judging by your picture, I'm probably old enough to be your mama. As I said, we're going to have some fun and make this a little bit silly, a little bit ridiculous. And my birds apparently take offense at that. Which actually does not surprise me in the least. Hello, Alex. How we doing? Always happy when my chat gets nice and full, because then I'm not just rambling to myself. I can totally ramble to myself as needed, but it's not very exciting to do. It's much more fun to actually talk to people. Hello, love. How we doing? Glad to see you back. We are doing a mushroom house today. Still not my artwork. Still a handy dandy little coloring book, but I have learned it's a little bit easier if I actually put the coloring book in the thumbnail instead of the picture I'm working on. This is the second time I've done that, where I put the coloring book and actually chose the picture at the beginning. I'm debating if I should wait until people are in to actually choose the page, but at the same time, I don't want to just be sitting there. So you never want to expect people to pop in immediately when you go live. It takes a few for anybody to make their way in, and I am absolutely okay with that. Quiet for a minute. That's usually me checking to make sure I didn't miss anybody in the chat. And I think this is definitely pretty cool myself. I wish I had this kind of drawing skill, though I can show you from a picture farther back. I'm fairly certain that this particular coloring book is AI generated. Some of them are very cool, but sometimes you can really tell when the character has an extra arm. So I cannot draw. I can't draw to save my life. I've said it before, I can do a mean stick figure, and that's about as far as my drawing skill goes. I am really good at taking old abandoned things and turning them into art for my yard. That's actually my favorite thing to do. And the main basis of my channel, which I did just finally finish one piece today. It will go out in my yard later on. It's still drying right now. But I wish I could do this type of art. It's just not my personal skill set. Now I have a brother that can draw incredibly well. I've watched him since we were kids and always kind of wished I could draw like that, but I can paint. I can badly sculpt, which is always kind of fun. My personal favorite piece that I've ever done, though, is a frog statue that came to me. I just realized I forgot something. There we go. Let's turn my Do Not Disturb on. But it's a frog statue that came to me in pieces. And we've put him back together, and he sits in my yard. And I call him Frankenfrog. And if you're ever curious, he actually has his own playlist on my channel, because I did put him back together, painted him, made him look like something called a leopard frog, I believe it was. And then he got damaged in some storms, so he had another piece where he got repaired and repainted to look like a red-eyed tree frog. That's awesome. I played soccer many, many years ago. Not in a very long time. And I put my daughter through soccer because it's a very good team building and learning to play well with others and learning to work as a team type of sport. I definitely wish you the best of luck. Stuff like that's definitely fun. And you can't get too competitive. It's the fun in it. There we go. I'm actually kind of liking how this is turning out so far. I'm a huge fan of doing the grab a color and stick it on the page thing. You end up with some interesting color combinations, which is fun and creates a unique look. I actually like this for this part of these, though. It's just a soft, almost slightly reddish brown. Which keeps it nice and warm without getting too dull. If you go too realistic with mushrooms, it gets very boring very quickly. And that is not what we want to do. Just a little bit over there. And I love the pictures like this where they actually come pre-shaded. If you've been in my lives before, you've heard me talk about it before. It just makes it so much easier because you're not having to sit and figure out how you're going to shade a thing. There we go. Let's see. This is another case of grab a color and stick it somewhere on the page. This was actually very well named because they called it moss green. And I grabbed it to use on that kind of mossy looking patch right there. I think we're going to do it on this little patch over here too, even though I'm not sure if that's moss or mushroom. And my birds are just chattering away over there. Hello, Haley, how we doing? I think I saw you in my live once before, if I remember right. I do try to remember these things. Not necessarily always the best at remembering, but I do try. I am liking the fact that with the light on, you can actually see when I use colors that have a little bit of shimmer to them. At least a little bit. And this is one of those not necessarily overly accurate things, but still, it's fun, and I like to add a little sparkle to my pictures anyway. I think we're going to have a little fun with that. We're actually going to come in here. I don't use the gel pens a crazy lot because there is no margin for error with them. But I was looking back at a picture that I did solely for my entertainment, and I realized that you can actually see the shimmer, which that was... Well, if I'd have realized that was that easy, I would have done it before. Let's see. I do very much enjoy this book. Maybe it's after this picture. There we go. I realized with this one that you could actually see all of the different metallics that I had used. So I'm going to start incorporating these in my pictures since you can actually see them in there. Because it just adds that level of depth that I am a huge fan of. I can't draw worth anything, but by goodness, I can sure trace. Which, if you pay attention to my channel at all, you've seen me do before. If you haven't, you are more than welcome to go through. Probably my best case of tracing out a picture to paint was my cutting board that I did for my daughter's housewarming. Excuse me. Yep. My bird has decided she's going for chaos. That happens occasionally. You don't buy birds if you expect a quiet house. It's just not something you do. They are chaotic, noisy little animals. And I love them. that definitely added a little bit of oomph to it. So that'll be something we'll be doing more and more often, just because I like to add a little bit of sparkle and shine to my pictures. It makes me happy. It may be silly, but it makes me happy. And the whole idea of doing these is for me to actually enjoy them. I'm guessing this is supposed to be a chimney. That's why I'm adding the metallic to it. It kind of looks like a little chimney, doesn't it? There we go. If it wasn't a chimney before, it is now. And that's how that goes. And I think we're going to use this Harvest Gold on the undersides here. It's just kind of an orangey yellow tan kind of color. Not something I want to use a ton of, but a little bit goes a long way. Just adds that little bit of depth. Keeps me from having the urge to do something weird up under there. Because I definitely have the urge sometimes to throw a really oddball color somewhere. Alright. We're getting far too normal with these colors. What do we want to do? I think we're due for some orange. If you've been around at all, you've heard me say it before. I love orange. It is a fun, nice, bright, cheerful color. I can't wear it. I have way too much red in my natural hair. Orange does not look good on me. But it is a color I do love to use. And that'll tie that from the red down to that kind of yellowy tan color. My birds have gone from we're going to scream chaos to we are going to give you kisses and see if that gets us attention. A lot of times when I do stuff, I put them movies or TV on specifically to keep them occupied, but they are currently obsessed with Disney movies and I'm not monetized. I will probably never get monetized if I start opening myself up to copyright strikes like that. So, we're not going to do that on camera, or when I'm on camera. When I'm not filming, they can have all of the Disney movies they want. There we go. Now I'm just kind of adding a little bit of bright to down here. Because we can. I love how this looks on the camera. Not so much just the color when I color it, but the pencil itself just looks so bright and so vibrant on the camera. And I'm a fan of that. And like I said before, I am not aiming for even marginally realistic. I mean, come on, we're coloring a mushroom house. We're not going to go for realistic on that. And I am just definitely unwinding after a day that's been a little bit chaotic. Started out with a herd of kittens running in the house and kind of being everywhere while I was trying to feed them. As soon as I opened the door, they all ran in, and I was trying to go out with the food, so that's always fun. We're not against them being in. We do have them in the house a decent amount of the time, so it's not like they're forbidden to be in here, but when they're running for the hills and being chaotic and half the house is still asleep, it's a whole different ballgame. I adore them though, and I will happily chase them around. And well, as soon as I set the food down, they came running back out to go get their food. Because unless you want to clean all day, every day, you do not feed 5 kittens and 2 cats inside. They just have not learned how to eat cleanly yet. And there are little kitty footprints everywhere in cat food for a little while after you feed them, which is fun and funny, but I don't want it in the house. And I know I'm jumping all over the place on this picture, but, you know, it gives me something to keep I can let my ADHD run wild and color what it feels like coloring when I pick up a pencil. I don't plan these in advance. When I post this out later on my page, you can actually go back and see I hemmed and hawed over even which picture to do. So, there is no planning. I plan to show up sometime around 3 o'clock and color for at least a half an hour. And that's the extent of planning I do for my life. Pardon me for just a second. I was testing a theory, seeing if this guy was shimmery or not. And he is. So we're going to just sneak him in here and there. Not every single leaf is going to get it, just enough to add a little bit of fun and sparkle. Because I enjoy doing that. Just a little here and there. Now that I know that these show up on the camera, I'm a lot more inclined to use them. I love my sparkly pencils, but they don't show up as much. Hello. I'm not 100% how to pronounce your name. I don't want to completely destroy it, so I'm just going to say hi and how are you? I am adding random sparkly spots to all of the greenery here. And the birds are back to Let's Create Chaos. So I got that going for me. How about you? If you're ever thinking about getting birds, ask yourself if you're okay with that being a normal thing in your life. Personally, I think it's funny and I love them. They're just sweet little chaos nuggets. I don't know if I would call it ASMR. They're a lot sometimes. Some moments it's birdie kisses, others it's sound the alarm. Their current favorite, which I find absolutely hilarious, is let's imitate the microwave. Or anything that beeps, for that matter. They love the beeping noise right now. And if you have any questions on how I'm choosing my colors, I'm literally reaching in this box, grabbing the first thing I see, and figuring out where to put it. I used to try to keep them separated out into their individual boxes, and that's kind of a pain. Because you put something back where it goes, and then suddenly you need it again. And you have to remember which box you took it out of. And I can't be bothered with all of that. So now I just have one large box of colored pencils. No more headaches trying to figure out what's what. And it lets me do the reach in, grab a color. Ooh, that's a nice dark brown. And that's what I mean by that is a nice dark brown. I promise it's really not black. It does, however, need sharpened before I can use it. Really. Pardon me as I answer my birds because, you know, you have to be just a little bit nuts to be a bird parent. But the particular type that I have, they're actually on an intelligence level of about a 3 to 5-year-old. So they will actually learn, listen, and occasionally talk to you. They don't really do sentences, but they'll let you know what they need. They'll tell me eat if I haven't changed their food yet, or they'll repeat it if they hear me say it. If we're having eggs for breakfast, they will yell egg until I stop and give them each a piece of egg because that is who they are. We made the mistake of giving them some once, and now it is an expected thing. They might be just a little tiny bit spoiled, but that's okay. I have a friend that likes to joke that when her time comes, if she's allowed to reincarnate, she wants to reincarnate as one of my pets. And I take that as a huge compliment, because that means she thinks I really do take good care of my animals. We have passed the 30-minute mark, so we're doing good. And this actually hasn't taken me nearly as long as I thought it was going to, so. And this is just another case of pick up the color, decide what I want to do with it. I want a crazy lot of pink in this one, though. I do love my blues. And this is actually a really pretty shade of blue, so. And this is one of those pencils that pressure changes the color, which I absolutely love. That is the other reason I use the pencils a lot more than I use the markers. I like the ability to change what something looks like just by changing how much pressure I put down. And my allergies are starting to kick up, so that's fun. If you're wondering about I will talk to you guys next time.